God came to me in a vision one night after I had been snorting some stripper coke that had been laced with drain cleaner. However, this turned out to be the greatest experience I would ever have snorting drain cleaner. I was transformed into a spirit being of pure light energy. I traversed the cosmos for what seemed like forever, and yet only lasted seconds. I was filled with a feeling of bliss that was so real I could touch it. Then God appeared to me, looking a lot like Robert Urich, and said to me through telekinesis, "My son, I have a mission for you." I replied, "Of course, Lord. Anything, as long as it's profitable with an F." He laughed and told me he was a huge fan of my Alex Jones and Jesse Ventura impressions and thought Archon Pete was extremely clever and unbelievably funny. And then the Lord said he thought my work was cromulent. I thank God for his kind words. Then he said to me, "Here is your purpose. Promise rings." Confused, I asked, "Huh?" The Lord said, "You know, promise rings. Like for teenagers, they promise their parents to not have sex before they're married. And if they do have sex before they're married, they promise not to enjoy it." "Done and done, I saith to the Lord." And I went forth to seek my destiny selling promise rings to creepy fathers who were way too concerned about their daughters' vaginas. Nevertheless, I did the Lord's most highest work. And as a side note, the Lord and I came to a 40-70 profit split for the promise rings. I didn't have the heart to tell him that 70-40 was a mathematical impossibility. It would seem that the Lord isn't a very good businessman, apparently. I mean, I looked at his books, and he's spending like 80% of his budget on marketing. And he was like, "But Nike does it." And I'm like, "I don't think Nike spends that much." And he's like, "Jason, you just don't understand. It's about the branding." And I'm like, "No, God, I do understand, but we are hemorrhaging money." And God's like, "Oh, who's we?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's going to be like that now, God? It was we when you needed me to cold call." So frustrating. Anyway, all of that really didn't matter because the market collapsed. Thanks to technology and technological advancements, dads could now just watch their daughters' vaginas via smartphone or something. I'm not sure how the interwebs work. The point is, I was yet again unemployed, lonely, and without teenage company. Just when I thought I absolutely could not get lower, I found a map that would change my life. Stay tuned for episode 6 of Hey, Who the Fuck is Jason Roggasch?